This guy named John, trying to keep his family safe from a big disaster, goes on a dangerous journey to find the place for everyone to be safe. Along the way, he encounters the real bad side of people as they fight to survive. The story begins by introducing John, a construction engineer who is not happy with his married life due to frequent arguments with his wife. John, frustrated. Shortly after, he's in his car, listening to the radio reporting a comet that poses a threat to Earth. Upon arriving home, he hesitates before entering. Inside, he encounters Allie, his wife, working out on a treadmill. They discuss their son, Nathan's upcoming birthday party, leading to Nathan's excitement upon hearing about the celebration. Afterward, on the television, the news reveals visual of the comet, its fragments falling rapidly toward Earth. The following morning, John tunes into the news about the comet again. The reports mention that fragments of the comet will reach Earth, but news reporters are sure there's no need for concern. As John is preparing the grill for an upcoming party, Allie enters and tells him to go to the store to get few items. John takes his son along, and even in the store's parking lot, everyone is gazing upward at the sky. They witness the comet falling close towards them. John receives a special message on his phone from the government, followed by an automated call. Oddly, nobody else in the store gets this message. The information is that John, his wife, and their son are selected for emergency shelter relocation. The same message appears on the TV at home, but Allie, John's wife, doesn't notice it. John hurries out of the store with his son. While driving home, he notices military vehicles and planes heading in the opposite direction. When they arrive home, the people have already gathered for the party. John goes to talk to Allie in the kitchen and asks Allie if she got the same alert. Allie ignores John, thinking it's just a government testing emergency alert, but John tells Allie about the military he saw on the way, suspicious about what's happening with the comet. Both John and Allie come back to the living room where everyone is watching the news about the comet. Anticipating the impact of the comet fragment in the Atlantic Ocean, everyone in the room remains calm as the TV displays a visual of the fragment. The children initiate a countdown, eagerly awaiting the anticipated splash in the ocean. However, when they reach one and expect the impact, nothing occurs initially. After a brief pause, a minor earthquake erupts. John steps outside and notices a flock of birds swiftly flying away. Suddenly, a colossal shockwave strikes, affecting both him and those inside the house.
After returning inside, the atmosphere is tense, and everyone remains on edge, watching to the news. The reporter shares alarming information about a comet fragment hitting a city in Florida, causing a shockwave that reverberated for thousands of miles and resulted in complete devastation. Amidst the anxiety, John receives another governmental alert, which appears on both his phone and the TV. The message is clear. Only John, along with his family, is authorized to go to the shelter. A security code for plane entry is provided on his phone. The rest of the people in the room, not receiving the same message, panic and hastily leave.
John and Allie, now confronted with the urgency of the situation, begin packing, their primary concern being whether they have enough insulin for their son Nathan, who is diabetic. Allie, multitasking, prepares food while anxiously listening to the disturbing news updates. The upcoming uncertainty makes things even more tense for the family as they deal with what's happening. As John rushes to get Nathan, who's saying the sky looks like it's on fire, they also found none of their friends got the same call. A neighbor shared unsettling news, saying the media talks about a huge piece of the comet called Planet Killer hitting Earth in 2 days. While they're leaving, another neighbor runs up, asking to take their daughter. John says no, and they argue in the car that even if they took her, she might not be allowed at the airbase. As they drive, they see people already looting stores. Suddenly, they hit a huge traffic jam on the highway, so John takes a side road. Listening to the radio, they hear more comet impacts and worries about entire cities being hit or even something really bad happening. The atmosphere is tense as the family deals with a quickly changing and unsettling situation. They reach the airbase and it's heavily guarded by the military. Many people are waiting near the doors, upset because they're not being allowed inside. The family manages to move through the crowd and gets in with the barcode they were given. Once inside, they're handed wristbands for personal identification and told to pack all their things into a single, smaller bag. In a sudden realization, they discover that Nathan's insulin is missing, and John hurries to retrieve it from the car. The urgency builds as they navigate through the procedures at the airbase, mindful of the essential medical supplies needed for their son. Allie goes to tell the soldiers about her husband, but informs them about their son's diabetes, causing a problem. She's taken to a superior officer who explains that someone with a chronic condition, like diabetes, can't be on the plane. Allie tries to reason with the officer, but she gets turned down. Both Allie and her son get escorted out of the base. Meanwhile, John comes back and is headed toward the planes, looking for them, unaware of what is happening. John boards one of the planes that's about to take off and tries to reach Allie but can't. One of the passengers there sees the insulin and tells John about the rules regarding chronic illnesses. John panics and asks to leave the plane. Suddenly, the base gets breached and the people start shooting toward the military. The plane that John was exiting has a fuel leak, so he tells everyone to get out and runs away. The plane explodes and causes a chain reaction. John finds out about his family being rejected as the two of them are already back at the car. The family faces an unexpected and distressing turn of events, adding to the complexity of their situation. Nathan's running out of insulin, and there's a lot of chaos outside the base. It takes John a bit of time to get back to the car. When he finally does, he sees a message from Allie saying she's taking Nathan to her dad's place. So John decides to go after them. On the way, Allie and the boy stop at a pharmacy to check Nathan's blood sugar and get insulin. Things take a scary turn when a dangerous gang enters, shooting and causing a scene. Somehow, they manage to escape and catch a ride with some folks who agree to take them part of the way to her dad's. But things get worse as the couple Allie is riding with starts acting weird. Eventually, they kick Allie out of the car, take her son, and speed away, leaving her stranded on the highway. Meanwhile, John gets lucky and finds a ride going north. In the truck, he chats with a guy named Colin. Colin spills that they're headed to Canada, where the driver knows someone with a plane that can take people to shelters. According to Colin, the military set up shelters in Greenland, offering a potential safe haven for those in need. The man advises John to reunite with his family in Canada, where they can catch one of the planes. However, another person in the truck eyes John's wristband and demands that John hands it over. Refusing to comply, a massive fight breaks out, causing the truck to spin and crash, ejecting people from the back. Despite the crash, the brawl persists, leading to John unintentionally killing the demanding individual. Unfortunately, Colin loses his life in the accident. Simultaneously, Allie secures another ride towards the base, where the people who took Nathan are heading upon reaching the airport base. During the initial checkpoint, as they display their wristbands, Nathan informs a soldier that these people aren't his parents. Consequently, the soldier escorts them away, taking him inside. Later, Allie arrives and embarks on a frantic search for Nathan, moving from one stop to another, from one medical unit to the next. After a relentless effort, she finally locates Nathan and learns that he has received the needed insulin. The nurse assures Allie that she'll assist in finding a military transport to her father's place and will provide her with medicine for Nathan. Meanwhile, John breaks into a house to get water and food. Panicking, he checks the news and discovers that the main impact is expected in less than 24 hours. Swiftly, he locates the family car keys, takes the vehicle, and rushes to Allie's dad's place. Finding him playing cards with friends, John inquires about Allie. Putting aside their differences, they decide to collaborate to locate Allie and Nathan. At the same time, Allie and Nathan reach a gas station and call home. John and Allie's father rush to pick them up, reuniting the family. Back at the house, they confirm that John's information about the shelters was accurate. Convinced by John, they decide to head to Canada for safety, preparing for the journey. However, they struggle to convince Allie's father to join them. Suddenly, a massive piece of the comet falls nearby, urging them to leave immediately to avoid the impending danger. Allie's father hands John a gun and bids his farewells, choosing to stay behind as they depart. During the drive, John and Allie reconnect, making a promise to stick together. They encounter a blockade on the road as debris from the comet begins falling around them. John turned the car out of the line of cars, but the fragments continue to rain down. To protect Nathan, Ali moves to the back as John searches for a shelter. They stay near a bridge where others are seeking refuge. John, however, rushes to aid a man trapped in a burning car. Later that night, they resume their journey, entering Canada. While on the road, they listen to the radio and learn that the biggest part of the comet will soon strike Earth, devastating over 75% of all living things. As they drive, they witness one plane taking off and another nearly doing the same. Determined, they pursue the second plane. John intercepts the plane by positioning their car in front of it. The pilot hesitates to take them aboard due to full capacity, but through persuasion, they manage to secure a spot. John experiences a dream of better times, awakening as they approach Greenland. The area appears untouched by the comet until suddenly a fragment smashes into the water, generating a shockwave that slams into the plane. The pilot struggles to maintain control as both engines falter. They gracefully descend through the air, landing smoothly but colliding with the glacier. The pilots are trapped by the impact, and despite John's efforts, he can't free them. Spotting a military plane landing a mile away, he guides the people from the plane there. Upon arrival, a military truck transports them to the shelter. As they enter, the planet killer strikes. The impending impact is mere minutes away, and people are still moving deeper into the shelter. Inside, they brace for the impact, triggering a flashback to their once happy life. 9 months later, the planet lies in ruins, with cities utterly destroyed. A radio signal seeks survivors, establishing a connection and relaying that the dust has settled without radiation. The shelter hatches open, revealing the family alive as a symbol of hope amid the planet's devastation. Observing a bird flying outside, they cautiously emerge from the shelter. As Earth is viewed from space, radio signals connect from all corners of the globe, indicating that some people have survived across the entire planet.